Hello, divine divas of the Bougie Hill Diva podcast. It is me, Christy Michelle, the Bougie Hill Diva, and I am going to talk to you about a conversation that I had with creator within me. And you guys know that I talk about the divine, right? All that is, and how we are expressions of that. We are individualized expressions within us of God, right? So if that's the truth, then that means you are God and God is you. You are the creation and the creator simultaneously. I talk all about this in Sugar Baby. If you haven't gotten Sugar Baby, you need to get it. And there's a special way to get it at a very discounted price if you sign up for Unbothered. The link is in the show notes. Okay. So, this conversation that I was having is so powerful, and it is something that is just going to click for you, and you're going to be like, holy crap, this this is it. This is the thing. This is the thing. So, we've spoken about, and I have so many podcasts. I have the Aligned Soul Entertainment podcast. I have the Woo and the Do podcast. Those other podcasts, we talked a lot about manifestation. We talked a lot about creation, right? And it was from the creation standpoint, like from being the way I call it, the sugar baby, right? So from the standpoint of I want this, I get it, thank you for giving it to me, that kind of standpoint. It wasn't basic law of attraction, but it still was in this illusion of fixing the 3D. And what you need to know, especially with you listening to this at this time, is that you're way past that. We've gone from focusing on changing our circumstances, right? Changing the 3D circumstances to moving to a timeline where your preferred circumstances exist. I'm going to say this again. This is what came through me on the day that I'm recording this. It said, I'm not changing my 3D circumstances. I am shifting to a timeline where my preferred circumstances exist. So, the idea that we change the 3D reality is a fallacy. And I'm going to give you so many examples, and you're going to be like, oh my God. Because if we stick in this fallacy of we need to change our circumstances, I need to attract circumstances that are different in this reality, it keeps you stuck. It keeps you in reaction mode. It keeps you believing that you have to work with what's in front of you. But the truth is, timelines are fluid. You are constantly shifting timelines with every decision, every thought. Like you are shifting, and your human brain can't get around it, and it's going to try to figure it out. But it's not about figuring this out. This is something that you get to just say, okay, it just is. I don't have to understand it, because your 3D mind, right, is not going to understand the human mind. But when you get that, wow, I am shifting timelines, not the circumstances, then guess what? The circumstances have absolutely no power over you. When you live with that truth, manifestation, quote unquote, because it's not manifestation, it's actually creation, stops being a process and it becomes a game where you hold the controller, where you choose the character, where you move to the next level, the next timeline effortlessly because you're just like, I'm choosing this and I'm turning away from this. But right now, if we feel we must change our circumstances, if we must change what is right now and just not accept it, right? There's a big piece, and this is why acceptance works. We're going to talk about it, but you're locked into the current reality when you can't accept what is. And a lot of you believe that I need to not accept what is, because if I accept it, then that's all I can have. But if you knew that there was another timeline where this isn't even a thing, whatever you're experiencing isn't even the thing, then you can accept it and release the resistance that's holding you on this timeline. Because when you lock it in and you keep referring to it, you're like, keep identifying with it, you're stabilizing it and you're holding yourself into it. And this is why all of the manifestation teachings have evolved, right? From The Secret, when it was do the vision board and your thoughts create reality, which they do. And I'm going to walk you through how they do. But it's shifted from that to your identity, and who you are is what creates. Because it's not about the vision board. It's not about the technique. It's you, you, you. You are the person that creates the shift. And so if you're still approaching it as a way to fix your 3D and fix what's here, you're still focused on things are wrong, I need to fix it, which locks you in and creates more resistance and reinforces the wrong premise of I need to change this circumstance, and it locks you into the circumstance. So what you get to do is remember that the 3D is not where your focus gets to be. You get to be the focus. You, your identity, your focus, that's what is malleable, and that is the way we can quickly shift. You are the one that shifts, you're the one that moves, you're the one that gets to be aligned. So timelines, like, this is a whole conversation. They're collective timelines, they're individual timelines. Collectively, we're moving together, like at a mass level. Individually, our trajectory, our frequency, we're jumping. I always called it the quantum soup, and I always wondered why that down, that that word kept coming up for me. And I was saying, in the quantum soup, every possibility, every version of you, every thought, every decision, everything exists. And there's a version of you that is living in the quantum soup, or a specific timeline where things are shifted, that has exactly what you want. And that and so, like, you probably can look on TikTok and some of these places, they have like timeline jumping, quantum jump into this reality, blah blah blah. And a lot of that has a lot of factions of truth, like a lot of pieces of truth, but a lot of it gets bastardized, because it's like, if you do this, then you can get out of this get out of the 3D and go to this other 3D, or shift your 3D and blah blah blah. But it really is, your power lies in your identity and your ability to accept what is without judgment, so that you can unlock yourself from this matrix. And so you'll find that this is why, when I'm all about positive thinking, positive, really focusing on the positivity, really choosing the thoughts that you want, I am all about that. That is very important. But you'll remember there was this thing that popped up, and it was talking about toxic positivity, and how you're positively too much positive and you're not focused on, like, you're not moving what is. And there is a happy middle in this conversation. Toxic positivity was basically like, put your head in the sand and don't pay attention to what your body is feeling. Don't pay attention to any of that, because it doesn't matter. It only matters for you to focus positively. That is a fraction of truth in it, which is why it worked for a lot of people. Where the power lies is when you can accept without judgment what is, as, okay, it is what it is, now what? You guys know that's it is what it is, now what? It is what it is, now what? I'm not trying to change it, like, oh, it's wrong, now I must fix it. I'm just like, okay, that is what it is. Now what do I want to align with? Which is where the power is, where the fluidity lies, where you can jump on timelines, because you're not anchored into this timeline, because you're fighting so hard against what is happening. And so ways to be like, come to neutrality, it is what it is now. What is, I have my Align Soul Alchemy method. That's a part of, if you have the rapid alignment method, because you're in this podcast, you can get it for like $99. I believe it's like $300 or $400, but you can get it for $99. It's 4 different processes that help you to rapidly align. And so you can use the Align Soul Alchemy method once you can say, oh, it is what it is now what. Before you get to the is what it is now what, sometimes you are emotionally tied. You have your body, your tension, like all of this stuff is like keeping you here. And the way to free yourself from it is to acknowledge it, right? What do? I talk about awareness. Oh, I'm aware. I acknowledge it. I acknowledge it. I'm going to accept it. It is what it is now. What? I'm going to love myself and love the parts of me that brought it up and love the parts of me that aligned with it. And I'm going to complete the cycle and say, I got it. Oh my goodness. I know that I get to have something different, or I got it. That was not even my belief. I get it now. You're going to accept it. You're going to close the cycle. And then you're going to align with where you want to go. It is what it is. Now what? Now this is what I'm choosing. This is the reality I'm stepping into. This is what I've decided. You're going to have to listen to this over and over and over and over and over again. Because every time you're going to hear something new. But this is ways that I haven't taught it before. But it's so clear to me now. And so years ago in my book, I think I wrote that book in either 2018 or 2019, I talked about PEV, your personal energetic vibration. And this is my identity shifting framework. It's made up of a lot of things. It's made up of thoughts, beliefs, feelings, the guides, emotions, the fuel, intentions, decisions, and actions. So thoughts, beliefs, feelings, emotions, intentions, decisions, and actions. All of those are important, and those make up your identity that will align you with the timeline that you so choose. It can go any way. But the most important piece of that equation is the feelings, which are your guides, right? When you are feeling something and it feels a little off, that is you teaching yourself, showing yourself that, oh, I'm thinking something or believing something or moving in a direction that isn't in the direction that I want to go, right? So when you're feeling happy, you're feeling joy, and you follow this joy, right? That's the guide to be like, yes, the direction where you want to go. It's unfolding. Woo! Right? But the other feelings that do not feel in alignment with that, that's not because they're bad. It's because, oh my goodness, it's guidance to say, wow, what am I thinking? What am I believing? Where am I choosing to lock into a reality, a timeline that I don't so choose, that isn't where I want to go? And so it's kind of like your GPS, it keeps pointing you to a different direction. And it's like, ooh, if this feels wrong, ooh, that means I made a left when I probably could have made a right. Let me turn around and get back on track. And then emotion is the power, it is the fuel. So emotions is taking these feelings and making them powerful, feeling them in your body, becoming energy in motion, feelings in motion. It is moving. It is like that emotion has power to it. And so what you're doing is fueling the guidance that you have with emotion. And that is how you shift to the timeline which you prefer. I'm going to give you some examples. I have 2 really good examples. One I use all the time, but this one I don't tell very often. So this is back, oh man, I don't even know where I was living. I was probably in New York. So this is, shoot, 15 years ago, probably. And I had this spreadsheet where It was an abundant spreadsheet and it tracked money that was coming in. Yes, because it was while I was working in corporate in New York. So, yes. So it tracked my salary and it's every 2 weeks and things get paid. And then I had like where the different bills and stuff would hit, and it looked negative. The whole thing, like going forward in the future, I was just in the red. It was in the red. That was the truth. It was like my reality was in the freaking red. And I remember distinctly saying, you know what, this gets to change. This gets to change. And I'm deciding I'm done with being in the red. I decided I'm done with this. I spoke it aloud. I felt it in my body, the completeness of it. I saw in my mind's eye like money flowing. It gets to calm. This is just the way it's going to be. Boom, boom, boom. And then I continue to like manage it because I wasn't going to run away from it. It is what it is. These are negative. I didn't make it mean anything about me. I just decided that that reality got to change. So I close up the spreadsheet and I go live my life. I go live my life. I said, you know what? I'll figure it out. I'll get caught up on these bills. Like it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Like I'm not getting paid this much money, right? To live in New York. I had tripled my salary. It was going to be fine. And so I remember distinctly opening my spreadsheet maybe like a couple of days later. It wasn't even, nothing changed. Nothing in my reality changed. I didn't have a business right at this time. So it wasn't like I had a different income stream. It wasn't that nothing changed, but I opened it up and it was green. Everything was positive. And I say green and red because the way I had it set up, the numbers were red because they were negative, and then it automatically would change to green when the numbers were positive. I opened that spreadsheet and everything going forward was positive. I hadn't changed a thing. It wasn't an equation problem. No one else had access to it. I shifted to a reality and my bank account flipped. It went positive and it stayed that way. And it was because I did the steps that I'm going to share with you if you keep listening. I jumped timelines. And it's so clear to me now. And I always told that story, but I didn't tell it in this way. And now it is so clear why it shifted like that. That is the power that you have. And it's the same thing with the ease and flow story. The story of when I was just so overworked, and oh my gosh, I was building the business that I have right now. I was working in corporate, had a lot of executives, reporting into me, 3 different teams. I was like 100 hours a week. I think it was between 80 and 90 hours a week. When I add what I was doing with this business, I was stressed. Energy felt chaotic. It was just a mess. And all I desired to feel was ease and time abundance. I wanted to feel like I had more than enough time to do everything that I wanted, and I wanted to feel ease. And I decided to speak that into existence. I decided to choose it over and over again. I decided to choose ease, choose ease, choose ease, choose ease. And what happened? After a week of doing that, and then 3 days into that following week, so 10 days, my whole world shifted. 5 days into doing it, I received an extra week of vacation. And the boss at the time was like, here, oops, we made a mistake. You you only have 2 weeks. Everybody else has 3. Here's 5 days for you to do what you wanted to it. He repeated back my words. I wanted time to do whatever I wanted to at free time. So I was like, this is working. So I kept doing it. I kept doing it. I kept doing it. And then 3 days in, it was that Wednesday, I was filing in the last thing in my inbox of an inbox that previously had like thousands of emails and project things that I needed to do. And I filed it away. And I called my sister and she's like, you've been coming home at 5, like for the last 3 days. Like it feels so much ease. I'm feeling ease. I called my team. They all were feeling ease. They all were leaving work on time or early. I shifted everything because I changed timelines, because I know I changed timelines because it was Wednesday and I know that that Tuesday I had worked late. But my sister tells me, no, 3 days you've been coming home on time, like early. What are you talking about? Like, this feels so good. Ease has been our reality for like a long time. And I know that that wasn't true. I shifted timelines to where ease was my norm, and not just my norm, the norm of my team, the norm of my sister, the norm of all the people in my life. And that was, oof, that had to be at the time of this recording at least 10 years ago. And so what you get, yeah, maybe over 10 years ago, yeah. And what you need to know, what you get to understand is that the speed is shifting even greater. It has already accelerated. Creation is accelerating. So, like, shifting gets to happen very quickly. And this is what you incarnated for. This is the moment we came here to play. This is our time to create, because listen to me, you are God. God is expressed through you as you. There is nothing outside of you. There is no waiting, no lag time. You can shift right now. And so these are the exact steps. Definitely tap into my personal energetic vibration method. I can do a podcast on that. That's important. That's shifting your identity. But I'm going to give you the exact shift, the steps to shift your timeline. In addition, like, you need to be the identity of the person who matches that. So your thoughts and your beliefs, your intentions, your feelings, your emotions, your decisions, and your actions need to match this timeline, yes. But this is the simplicity of what I want you to focus on. Okay? First, you want to decide with strong emotion. Decide with strong emotion what gets to change. Like where you're going, not what needs to change. Decide what you want. Don't focus on what needs to change. Decide with strong emotions what you want. Now, this can start off with a strong decision of, I'm done with that. I'm no longer doing that. We're complete. That can be that first piece, but your big decision with strong emotion gets to be what you're deciding your life gets to look like, your reality gets to look like. Then you get to speak this aloud, out loud with power. Decide. I like to write what I'm deciding and then say it aloud with power. And I feel this in my body fully. I feel the joy of it. I feel the smile on my face. I feel it. And then very quickly, you get to see it in your mind's eye, in your third eye, you get to see it. Now, this doesn't have to be the whole vision, because some people cannot see it, right? Because they can't imagine and see things. So this isn't about seeing it vividly, like how they have the thing with the apple. Imagine a red apple, and some people cannot imagine the apple, but they can feel it in their mind's eye. Some people can see the red apple. Some people can just see a semblance of an apple. Like, it's not about that. I just mean in your mind's eye. I want you to imagine it done. And if you see it, yes. If you feel it, great. If you, whatever you get to do, but just close your mind in 2 minutes. Give yourself 2 minutes to imagine it done. And then decide it, so say, and so it is. And then from there, you're doing the PEV. You're going to be thoughts, beliefs, feelings, intentions, emotions, decisions, actions, like all of that align with that, the movements. You're making the moves of that. You're speaking that. You're talking about it. You're having conversations because it is done. This is your new reality. This is what you're choosing. This is the timeline you have decided to jump on. Now, what happens if you feel like you're being pulled back? So if you feel like you're being pulled back to a timeline that you do not so choose, you get to work through that using the Line Soul Alchemy, moving through it, becoming aware of it and being like, oh, I feel like there's something here for me to release. There's here for me to acknowledge, here for me to remove through my body and release the energy and the emotions that are sticking me to this timeline. And then from there, you get to love yourself, appreciate the shift, and shift again. Go into deciding it's done, seeing it's done, being in there, aligning with that reality. So, I'm going to walk you through an example of what this looks like. So, let's imagine that you have maybe your bank account isn't looking the way you want it to look. Right? Because this is one of the ones that I feel like even if you have a lot of money in the bank account but you want a lot more, it's still like in your 3D reality right now, it doesn't look the way you want it to. Okay? And so what you get to do is decide with strong emotion, I'm done. Okay, that's the balance. It is what it is. Now what? I'm done with this reality of this being my balance. It is what it is. I'm not fighting against it. You know what? It's that is where it is. And so you get to say, now what do I want? Okay? And so you could say, with feeling, speaking aloud, I decide that I'm done with the struggle forever. I decide that my bank account never goes below 5 figures again or 6 figures again, right? I decide that multiple 5 figure days are my norm. I decide that I am respected for my work and known all over the world for my work. I decide that my experiences, the things that I create, people are flooding in. They love it. They can't have enough of it. They just are so excited of it and they love it. They love me. They love what I've created. They're getting such a big benefit from it. Okay. And so you say, I decide that money flows to me every single day. I decide that I have 5 figure days and 4 figure days and 3 figure days and all the days, and money just flows every single day. I receive money every single day, time and time and time again. I decide. Money flows to me. Money supports me. Money is here for me. I decide. So that's me speaking it aloud. And now I want you to feel it in your body. Feel it in your body. Feel it in your body. This as truth, as done, as your reality. Feel the smile on your face. Feel the happiness, whatever. What is it? The relief. Feel that joy of it already. It is done. It is mine. I have so much. Yes, yes. Release. Maybe you're yawning, whatever. Let it out, let it out, let it out. And see it in your mind's eye. So for the next 2 minutes, you're going to see it in your mind's eye. I want you to close your eyes and see the bank account, see the 5 figures, see it growing to 6 figures, see that there's so much there. I want you to imagine that you paid this and you paid that and you gave it at, did this and you did something special, and every dollar that went out came back 10 times more. Every dollar that goes out comes back 10 times more. Like you can't write a check or pay a bill quick enough for that same amount to be multiplied times 10 and depositing in your bank account. It feels so good. It feels so amazing. And you're like, yes, yes, yes. Like close your eyes and see the account, the numbers all growing. See the numbers in all of the accounts that you have growing. In this account, in this account, in this account, in this account. 5 figures in this one, 10 figures in this one, 6 figures in this account. And it's just depositing. And you're like, wow, I'm just so abundant. Look, money flows, money flows. Oh my God. I am a money magnet. Money just continually flows to my account and flows again and flows in this way and that way. And just imagine it just growing. Imagine the numbers just blinging, going amazing. Imagine you taking all of your bank accounts and looking at it, and the number is like a telephone number. It is like a telephone number. It is like 504, right? 555-5555, right? It is 504-769-5309. Like it is growing. And you see the dollars, you see the euros, you see all of the pounds, you see the Australian dollars, you see the rupees, you see the all of the money just growing. And you just feel it. You feel it in your body, the smile on your face, the relief, because money is there for you. You are one with money. You and money, there is no separation. You and money are one. You are one. And now open your eyes and decide it done. Say, and so it is done. And so it is. Diva. divine diva. You have shifted timelines, and now you just need to keep your focus on the timeline you so wish, you so choose. Now, let's say it comes and a bill comes, and you're like, okay, I get to pay this. You get to say, yay. How would you, who has, every time you pay something, it comes back 10 times more. You're so happy to pay that. You're like, paid. Woo, can't wait. Oh my God, it's coming back 10 times more. Like, you're so excited to pay it. You're so excited for every single dollar that comes in and every single dollar that goes out. Because this is the game. You are the one controlling it. Time is fluid. Timelines are fluid, and circumstances are just old energy. You are not stuck. You are not limited. You are God. So shift now, play now, be now. And on that note, Divine Diva, stay bougie, stay healed, and keep it divine.